We're entering into this era where we are going to become our own banks. We already can. However, a lot of people still don't understand that this is possible. So it would again behoove you guys to start to digest this information and pay attention, because projects, organizations, and companies that you already know and trust are starting to integrate these DeFi primitives into their backend infrastructure.
I would say two things. So where investors really see right now opportunity is in market neutral funds, which are leveraging digital assets. So for example, RE7, I don't know if Evgeny is here, is running one, we are running one. And we are able to generate 15% net per annum with 9 Sharpe ratio, so super low volatility, monthly liquidity, just by providing liquidity into DeFi. And
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. As you all heard, the institutional panelists on stage at the AIM summit that took place in Dubai in 2025, these institutions are going to need to lean in. If they don't, they're going to lack competitiveness via the yield generation environment, putting digital assets to work.
Overall, DeFi market is still relatively small, so $200 billion market cap out of $4 trillion overall market cap of crypto. So, we are somewhere around 5%. And I think it's, never too late to allocate, just like we just discussed, into our industry, because it's high growth. What do you want as an investor? You want to invest into high growth assets, which are generating yield. And that's exactly what DeFi is doing. So right now I see most of the interest in DeFi and of course stablecoins. If I include stablecoins, that's additional $300 billion. So together $500 billion out of a $4 trillion industry.
So before going to talk about stablecoins, what is your view, Riff, in terms of where the capital is going in all this space?
The capital will definitely start flowing into these digital assets because they're going to be more and more digital assets. We all know one of the big narratives right now is RWAs. So we're taking traditional assets and tokenizing them. Why? Because it increases the utility. And when you increase the utility, you increase the return. And so this is the first time you can have somewhat the same risk. Yes, you're introducing counterparty risk with smart contracts and some DeFi risk, but that will be reduced over time. But really the same asset and its return profile is being increased. And that's going to drive more and more assets to be tokenized and more companies that are going to lean in and allocate towards these digital assets. So I think these native digital asset kind of institutional allocators are going to they're going to be much farther ahead than the others. And so everyone has to really lean into this space in order to take advantage of what he just said. Like those returns he's talking about they used to be unheard of, but now because of digital assets, they're going to be more and more common. So I think that is definitely the future. And then all these traditional companies really do need to lean in.
As you guys heard me mention at the very beginning of today's video, we now are entering into an era where we have the ability to become our own bank, and the likes of organizations that you already have done deep research on, names like Stellar or Ripple, are all helping these financial institutions and large organizations integrate DeFi into their core infrastructure. And I'm going to show you guys exactly that in today's video breakdown. We're going to be diving into some documents. We're going to be taking a look at some of the largest organizations in the game and the information that they've been putting out to you guys, showing you all that we are entering into this digitally native era where everybody is going to have a digital wallet. And in that digital wallet, our digital assets like XRP, XLM, and our stable coins are going to be consistently generating us yield, passive income returns. And now is the time to be locked in and focus on testing these things, studying these things, and educating yourself on this digital transformation, so that way you can adapt and grow alongside the large institutions. That way you don't risk being left behind. So let's dive into today's video breakdown. As always, welcome back. Hopefully you guys enjoy these deep dives. If you do, they do take time to make, so do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support. If you guys are watching this on Rumble, then make sure that you guys are subscribed to our Rumble, as we are starting to shift a lot of our content over to Rumble in terms of our crypto-related material. So make sure that you guys are following us over on Rumble. Starting here, okay, this is a post that I put out to you guys just to show you all how far in advance we are here at CYPRX in terms of what we see into the future. No hopium, no hype, just real research. And I'm going to show you guys in today's video how all of this is materializing now in real time. I said over a year ago on July 15, 2024, the last bull market, XRP, XLM, and HBAR had no DeFi ecosystem helping boost momentum like ETH did. That has all changed now for the first time ever, and you've seen nothing but DeFi developments on the XRPL, Stellar, and Hedera. Buckle up, this ride will be different, utility will run or not. The DeFi ecosystem alone on these three networks are about to explode in TVL over the next 8 to 12 months. And you can see, if you go take a look at DeFi Llama, the growth of the DeFi ecosystem on these three networks over the last exact 8 to 12 months. We have now seen so much TVL increase in the DeFi ecosystem, and we are just getting started. We are on the verge of experiencing regulatory clarity that is going to usher in a new era of finance, and these institutions are 110% going to onboard into DeFi. I'd say that in the next coming 6 to maybe 8 months, we are going to have more regulatory clarity that is going to allow and give the green light for institutions to really utilize DeFi protocols at scale.
I think it's going to be massive, actually, and I'll probably go even slightly further than the other guys. I think we have now the tokenized cash version, call it what you like. We have the tokenized money market fund stuff. We have each of these weekend liquid now. We have a large push now already into tokenized equities. We will get Clarity Act, SEC guidelines. We'll work out what we can do in DeFi, what's legitimate, what can scale in DeFi. And I think this is all like in the next 6 to 9 months, actually. And so I think if we today have something like $30 billion in tokenized real-world assets outstanding, in 12 months, we're going to be at like 300 billion. So I think you're just at that acceleration point where regulation, liquidity, and others can come together, and we can move very, very quickly. So it's equities now. It will be tokenized broader funds at some stage. Like when I talk to the real money accounts at some stage next year, one of the main ones that possibly starts with B is going to say, okay, here's like $50 billion fund, which is now all in tokenized space. And when after that, you'll get all the FOMO from all the others doing exactly the same, right? So we're just now at that tipping point in tokenized real world asset space. And the average person will end up with a new wallet in their phone. They won't know the cash part is stablecoins. They won't know the equity part is tokenized Apple stock. They won't know the money market fund is with BIDL, right? So, and because of AI agents next year, when everyone has that as well, every time you get paid every month, an individual will be able to be super capital efficient, right? So money comes in and goes out immediately to each of these assets, and you can get in and out of them on weekends. You can do stuff in DeFi with them to get extra leverage as well. So I think we're just there now at this explosion. So actually, for me, if 2025 has been about stablecoins, 2026 might be all about this, quite seriously.
Don't take that from me. Take that from an industry-leading expert with institutional credentials telling you guys we are just on the verge of that tipping point before institutional FOMO. He mentioned digital wallets, putting digital assets to work in the DeFi ecosystem. And so as we go through today's video breakdown, again, diving into some stellar and recent Ripple developments, showing you guys that we are entering into an era where you're not going to want to sell your utility assets for fiat currency. Before we get into those fundamentals, I might need to break this down into a 2-part series because I want you guys to really see the depth of the CYPRX research and the documents and the people whom we pay attention to garnish this information. By the way, is all available for you guys in the CYPRX private research Discord, where there's literally hundreds of hours of documented research from our global research team, keeping you guys in the loop and ahead of the average retail investor who is driven by hopium and speculative hype. We here in the private CYPRX community focus on institutional documentation. There are hundreds of documents. There are hundreds of panel discussions, all go relatively unnoticed. We'd love to have you on the team. Come tap in with us. This is the type of research that you want to be dabbling into, not the speculative hopium, bullish moonboy crap that exists on the average retail Twitter and YouTube space. You want to be a part of a community that's locked in and focused on these types of documents and panel discussions. So let's jump into a few of those documents shared by the CYPRX research team. I said here in this post, what Standard Chartered just published is a huge signal most people will overlook. They're openly talking about staking, lending, and DeFi liquidity in their documents. They're talking about strategies and how they can utilize these tools to enhance yield and optimize cash management. So, this is exactly why I stress the importance as you guys, my audience, that you learn about DeFi, because this is what the large organizations are talking about. You can see right here, Michael Spiegel, global head of transaction banking, Standard Chartered, says right here, I already quoted it, but the financial landscape is undergoing a profound transformation. And he talks about DeFi, how it elevates yield generation, right? If we come over here, look at what they're saying. They offer new avenues of portfolio diversification and potential yield enhancement through strategies such as staking, lending, and liquidity provision, all in which we talk about inside the private CYPRX Wealth 28 Club. So if you guys are new to this space, or you are not new to this space and you've been involved in crypto for some time and your assets are just sitting there in cold storage doing nothing, you could start testing out these DeFi protocols. You don't need to risk your whole entire bag to learn about DeFi. Shoot, you don't even need to risk crypto to learn about DeFi. You just need to tap into the right documentation with the right community and get exposed to the right education. And education does not require any risk, right? The road ahead, it says an opportunity to embrace a new era of innovation. And it goes into detail about embracing all of this technology. Again, this is directly from Standard Chartered, right? Right here, it literally says yield generation and diversification. As we continue to show you guys that we are entering into this new wallet-based system, it is very important that you, as a retail investor, know how to manage both a decentralized wallet, a hot wallet, a cold storage wallet, that you can navigate to and from a bank account, so on and so forth. Like, it's very crucial that you're not just, oh, I'm going to download Coinbase, buy crypto, put it in my cold storage wallet, and then be successful mindset. That's not how this is going to work. This system, this new financial system, is going to require digital literacy. It's going to require the utilization of new digital tools. And you, as a retail participant, need to, again, educate yourself on those tools to become and remain adaptive, right? So just to show you guys that I'm not making this up, check this out. This is a massive structural shift happening right in front of us, I said. For decades, corporate liquidity has revolved around traditional bank accounts, single currency relationships, siloed systems, and limited flexibility, but that is changing fast. We are entering into a wallet-based era. This is going to be a very important highlight right here as we jump into this Ripple announcement that came out in most recent times, just a few days ago, right? November 3rd, 2025, Ripple custody momentum continues and acquires Palisade. So many people are missing the beat on how massive this announcement is, but we'll get to that in just 1 second. So back to this, where I mentioned we are entering a wallet-based era where corporate treasuries can hold stable coins, tokenized deposits, and yield-bearing assets and more, all in one programmable digital wallet. This isn't just digitizing old processes, it's an entirely new financial architecture. Imagine consolidating hundreds of bank accounts into a few wallets, unlocking real-time settlement, continuous yield, and multi-asset liquidity optimization across blockchains. Remember what the gentleman said, that we are going to enter into an era where people aren't even going to know that this is all working in the background. Well, wouldn't you want to be the type of person that knows that this is what's running the financial system? I sure would. And so again, it would behoove you guys to not just think that hodling crypto is going to be the one-all be-all success in the future. It is going to require active management, active participation, and consistent education and involvement with these new tools that are available to us to become our own banks. I said even Sandy Call from Franklin Templeton said this shift could accelerate the complete rewiring of the global financial system. Soon, both institutions and individuals will be able to earn yield on all of their assets in a single wallet 24/7 globally. This is exactly where DeFi meets real-world finance. And this is the document, shout out to the researchers for this one, from Finmo. And if we come over here, what is it talking about? The traditional bank account, which has anchored corporate liquidity management for decades, now faces competition from a more flexible alternative, the digital wallet. And if you come over here, it talks about how they're literally consolidating all of these accounts. We're heading into a wallet-based system. This is an infographic of that. Then here, this is that quote from Sandy Quall, head of innovation at Franklin Templeton, where she mentions that we are seeing a complete rewiring of the global financial system. Now, because this document is literally talking about bank account consolidation, how we're entering into a new wallet-based system, well, over on Rumble, I shared this video breakdown recently of Larry Fink from BlackRock going on to talk about this exact shift. It is not a coincidence. It is all happening at the same exact time for a reason.
I would say the biggest question from central banks is what is the role of tokenization and digitization? How quickly should they think about digitizing their own currency? What does that mean for the role of the dollar? If every currency digitizes and we have, what does that mean for bank payments? What does that mean for the payment companies like MasterCard and Visa? All these are being questioned right now. I think we spend so much time talking about AI. We're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset and the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet and moving ETFs and other things through a digital wallet. And I think that's going to happen worldwide very rapidly. And I think most countries are ill-prepared for that and underappreciate how technology is changing that.
Two things I want you guys to focus on is right? That is huge confirmation, not just in the documentation, but also verbal confirmation from the largest asset manager in this space. So just to show you guys again, devil's in the details, the last document that I want to share with you all before we get into the fundamentals from Stellar and Ripple that were recently announced. This is Jakub Smolinski, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, an associate partner at Synpulse, a major global management consulting firm that works closely with financial institutions. And recently, he gave one of the clearest confirmations to date of how institutional wealth management is preparing to integrate tokenization and DeFi into the future financial system. So my goal here with the first portion of today's video breakdown is to show you guys that now is the time to lean in. Regardless if you lean in with investment or education, it would behoove you guys to lean in. You have to make the mature decision on what that lean in moment is for you or what that consists of. But here at CYPRX, we provide education, we provide the research, we provide the validity that this is all happening. It is up to you guys to take action on how you participate. But the bottom line is education. Education is an absolute must in this new digital era. So let's look at what Jakub said in this document. Are you ready? Wealth managers should position themselves to capture some of this remarkable growth. You need to find a role in the new chain and work out how you can earn income from it. These are the issues and questions that you should be addressing today. Then he goes on to say, he said the moves signify an increasing institutional interest in leveraging tokenization and institutional DeFi to build the financial infrastructure of the future. Looking ahead, he enthused that some estimates that by the end of this decade, the market could be worth around 40 trillion US dollars following this mainstream adoption is expected to accelerate. Migrating to blockchain technology, he said the tokenization can be defined as the process of converting financial assets into tokens using blockchain tech. He observed that institutional DeFi is emerging as a new, more robust, faster, and better version of traditional market infrastructure, signaling a stronger impetus. And so again, this is coming directly from an individual representative from an organization that is a major global management consulting firm for financial institutions. So take that all into consideration as we migrate into these new fundamentals. So this is a very important fundamental going on to the second portion of today's video breakdown. I want you guys to really focus on, as we dive into these Stellar and Ripple fundamentals, the terminology here, because wallets, DeFi, earning yield, generating passive rewards, vaults, even in this document that I'm going to read here for you guys today, are the same key vocabulary words that we shared in part one of today's video breakdown as the vocabulary that you're going to see in the Stellar and the Ripple announcements. All right. And so this is just going to prove that the digital assets that you most likely already know, and maybe some of you even hold in your portfolio, are focused on exactly what we've been stressing the importance of here at CYPRX, and that is earning passive rewards, and how we are entering into an era where we are becoming our own bank. So at the beginning of this month, just to show you guys that these large organizations are for a fact participating in these yield generation vaults. This is a very important key vocabulary word, the word vault right there. I said here, Lido and Solstice's new institutional yield strategy isn't just about better staking returns. It's a clear signal that banks are stepping into DeFi. So let's take a look at this. This is from October 3rd, 2025, just to show you guys that it is relatively fresh in terms of how long ago this came out. It is only from about a month ago. With ST Vaults, Solstice simplifies onboarding for institutions seeking access to staking rewards that may exceed those of traditional markets. Delivered in a streamlined way, likewise, Solstice ST Vaults give retail users access to the same conservative yield generation strategies that are typically reserved for accredited and larger investors. This is that level playing field. For Solstice, one of the key challenges in institutional onboarding is ensuring strict asset segregation and transparency, a non-starter for compliance-sensitive client managing large amounts of capital. Solstice needed a way to offer institutional-grade staking with dedicated infrastructure. Isolated vaults and tailored validator support are set to meet these operational and regulatory standards. Then down here, it mentions, and I highlighted, it says, by integrating ST Vaults, Solstice enables the deployment of isolated high-yield staking setups that offer institutional-grade strategies, bridging the gap between DeFi innovation and traditional markets. Solstice is further expanding this bridge by actively working with Swiss banks. So you will notice in the DeFi ecosystem that you have a large portion of skepticism where people are like, oh, this isn't regulated. There aren't any regulated opportunities for retail investors to participate in DeFi. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you still have that belief, that is an outdated perspective. And again, that's why it would behoove you to tap into the CYPRX research team so that way you're constantly evolving with the landscape, because this clearly says that these strategies will be both available to larger investors and the average retailer. And it says right here that they're working with banks in a regulated environment. So huge confirmation that this is taking place. To now go down the rabbit hole after showing you guys all of that confirmation. Now take a look at what Stellar and Ripple have recently announced. And this is huge. So this is from October 31st, 2025. Stellar, the open permissionless blockchain with a 10-year track record of powering real-world financial applications, has announced plans to join the Chainlink Scale program and integrate Chainlink's data feeds, data streams, and the cross-chain interoperability protocol to expand how developers and institutions can use trusted data and cross-chain connectivity on Stellar. So what is this going to do? Well, it says right here, with this integration, Stellar continues to extend its role as a bridge between RWAs and DeFi. Then right down here, it mentions this collaboration significantly accelerates Stellar's ability to scale to meet the demands of a unified on-chain financial system. And it doesn't end there, because it goes on to talk about these new capabilities. And what have I been showing you guys all the way since back in 2024, over a year ago, is going to happen? New capabilities that never existed before, right? Well, what is that? That consists of yield generation, putting digital assets to work, earning passive income, and that is exactly what this partnership unlocks. So it says here, once completed, the integration of Chainlink CCIP will introduce new capabilities to the Stellar ecosystem, giving developers and institutions more secure and trusted tools to connect to Stellar-based assets with the broader DeFi ecosystem. There it goes, mentioning tools. Well, what are these tools? And do you know, or are you going to know in the future, how to utilize them? If not, you can always, again, head over to CYPRXtrading.com and you can tap in with us in the Wealth 28 Club, because we utilize these tools and we literally record hundreds of video breakdowns utilizing these tools so you all can learn. Extendable and future proof. This is the one I want you guys to focus in on, these tools that this unlocks. It says, built to evolve, CCIP's architecture is extendable, enabling support for new blockchains, tokens, and the emerging security enhancements. This will ensure that Stellar's ecosystem is able to interoperate with an expanding ecosystem of DeFi protocols. Joining the Chainlink Scale program is a natural next step for Stellar. Chainlink's data and interoperability standards through data feeds, data streams, and CCIP will give developers and institutions on Stellar access to the same trusted infrastructure powering much of DeFi today. Once the integration is complete, Stellar will be one step closer to a unified on-chain financial system where real-world assets and DeFi coexist seamlessly. This could not be any more clear than what Stellar is aligned with, and that is, again, giving users the ability to become their own bank and put their digital assets to work in the DeFi ecosystem, including the likes of XLM. And if you guys don't want to hear that from me, take it directly from Danielle Dixon of the Stellar Development Foundation. Shout out to Thinking Crypto for this podcast here, where he went on to interview Danielle Dixon and listen to what she said here. Mind you, this is from only 6 days ago.
So Danelle, a bit about the tokenization market. It seems the puck is heading where a lot of these traditional assets will be on the blockchain, fractionalized. You'll be able to put them to work in DeFi, and we're going to have almost 24/7 markets, maybe for some assets, not all, but also more of a global reach, more liquidity coming in from different parts of the world. Do you see it that way? And what are some of your expectations maybe by 2030 for the tokenization market?
Yeah, I think that the way we think about Stellar, certainly in 2025, 2026 and beyond, is scalability and usability. And a lot of it is focused around tokenizing these assets and making sure that these assets can be leveraged across all markets. So when you think about they're not all of them are quite ready for the DeFi platforms yet, but they want to be. Not all of them are quite ready to be used for payment mechanisms, but they want to be. And so we need to let a little bit of the policy and the regulatory environment catch up with what this technology can do. But I love that these players are thinking ahead and they're trying to figure out, like, what are the things, like, if you think about paying with stablecoins, that's amazing. But if you think about the fact that you can hold a US backed treasury asset and then also make payments with that US backed treasury asset, so that you're also, the money is sitting there working for you and you get to leverage payments just like a traditional money market fund where you used to be able to write checks from it. It's pretty great. And to make that sort of on a global scale, which is what we're seeing, is also really wonderful. So I think, and then to be able to put them into yield bearing, to put them into pools so that you can generate yield from it, just create so much opportunity for the end user, whether that be a small to medium sized institution or an end user.
So there you have it, directly from the Stellar Development Foundation, Danielle Dixon, like slapped right in everybody's face. The ability to provide liquidity, generate yield with your digital assets, it's going to be amazing. And so this is the future that we are headed into. Last but not least, we have this ongoing announcement from Ripple that just took place yesterday, November 3rd. Institutional grade asset custody just got supercharged, and Ripple announced that their custody momentum continues and that they acquired Palisades to offer comprehensive digital asset custody solutions. Now, I'm sure that a bunch of other people in the, XRP ecosystem probably covered this announcement, but they most likely missed the details. And the details are exactly what we've been covering in part 1 of today's video and now part 2, which is that we are going to be able to put our XRP to work. You are not going to want to sell it for fiat trash. So let me show you guys that Ripple is aligning with all of this in their acquisitions and their recent announcements. So Ripple, a financial technology company that offers crypto solutions for businesses, today announced the acquisition of digital asset wallets and custody company Palisade. The acquisition will significantly expand Ripple's custody capabilities, directly serve the core needs of fintech, crypto native firms, and corporates. And if we scroll down here to the bottom, what is Palisades? It's important to understand that. Palisades is a digital asset infrastructure company that provides a secure custody and wallet solution for businesses. What did BlackRock's Larry Fink just say? Palisade wallets offer a flexible API that enables rapid integration of multiple party computation, wallet technology, empowering businesses to build payment systems, tokenization platforms, and Web3 applications with seamless users onboarding and transaction management. Palisade Custody provides full regulated and institutional grade storage for digital assets, utilizing secure hardware security models and advanced cryptography to eliminate single point failure. With deep integrations across leading blockchains, including XRPL, Palisade solutions enable organizations to securely store, manage, transact digital assets while maintaining compliance and control. This is huge. This means that we're going to be able to literally leverage digital assets like XRP across the DeFi ecosystem in a regulated manner. So looking into this, remember I told you guys to remember vaults, wallets, yield, DeFi integration, right? All that vocabulary. We'll check this out. It says here, Ripple Custody is already trusted by tier 1 global institutions, including ABS Bank, BBVA, DBS, Societe Generale, Forge, and more. It is designed to act as a secure vault for institutional crypto. Guys and gals, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, because what did I show you all these institutions are already doing? Remember this document where on October 3rd, they announced this Solstice and Lido integration here, and now they're partnering with Swiss banks for yield generation in these vaults. I'm not, this is like clear confirmation that this is 110% happening. And Ripple, XRP, RLUSD, and the entire infrastructure that they've been building out for the last over the decade is 110% allowing this to happen, right? So it says it's designed to act as a secure vault for institutional crypto, offering a tamper-proof audit trail and cryptographic approval process ideal for compliance. Palisade's lightweight architecture combines governance and security features, including multi-party computation and zero-trust architecture, with fast wallet provisioning, multi-chain support, and DeFi integration. These three highlights are the most important. It says fast wallet provisioning. Quickly create and deploy new digital wallets for customers at scale. Guys and gals, come on now. What document did I show you all? That they're literally consolidating bank accounts and we're migrating into this wallet-based infrastructure, right? Showed you guys the documentation for that. That's number one. We go down here. It says hold and manage digital assets across multiple different blockchains. So this is verified proof that it's not just going to be XRPL. It's going to be multiple different networks. Then here it says DeFi integration. Interact with decentralized finance protocols such as lending or yield platforms. Ripple continues to enhance its custody solution for enterprise adoption, including integration with top crypto compliance providers like Chainalysis, Elliptic, and with over a decade of experience and 75 plus regulatory licenses and registrations globally, Ripple is uniquely positioned to bridge TradFi and decentralized finance. So I will wrap it up there for you guys. These are major announcements across the board. Huge confirmation in today's video breakdown. I know that it was a lengthy one, but if you all enjoyed, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe, bringing you guys the realest information in the game. I've been an advocate of trying to get everybody to see that now is not the time for price predictions. Now is the time to hodl, accumulate, stack more bags, and have a zoomed out long-term perspective. Because those that accumulate more bags through the utilization of DeFi are literally learning how to become their own bank, generate passive rewards with their utility digital assets, and will be the ones that most likely come out on top, that adapt with the changing tides and these financial institutions. With all of that in mind, remember, none of this is financial advice. If anybody wants to go out and see how we are getting our digital assets to work for us, you can always head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.